this country, like I imagine many other Western countries, is absolutely obsessed with American politics. It was like the other day, Wednesday, here in New Zealand, the country ground to a halt in the afternoon. I was trying to do business and ring people. I'll ring you back. They were all watching the debate, right, down here in little old New Zealand on television. I managed to talk to some professor in Philadelphia, but everyone I talk to who purports to be a journalist or an academic is actually polarised here in New Zealand and there. What did you make of it? What did you make of the debate?
No change. I watch the debate as if it's a movie and you're supposed to enjoy it and it's something for you to talk about socially with your friends. But in reality, we all know what to expect going into it. We all know that everyone is going to see exactly what they want to see in that debate. And your timeline on X will reflect that. The people that were already voting for Trump were further committed to Trump. The people that were already committed to Kamala thought she was the most wonderful thing as she graced the stage, and she was emotive. And that's what's to be expected because, as you said, we are an increasingly polarized country where people are just, they put on their blinders and they see exactly what it is that they want to see.
Yeah, I'm also conscious that all the commentators I see saying Kamala absolutely wiped the floor with him, she was the winner on the day, they are the same people who told me that Joe Biden was at his peak, on top of his game, that he was going to kill Trump, and he was a guy as sharp as he'd ever been. So I have this problem with trusting the commentariat.
That's where everybody is today. I mean, it's the reason why people like me have such big shows is because they don't trust the commentary. They understand that when we're referring to the establishment, we're referring to an establishment of lies. So they've all agreed on one narrative. Doesn't matter what the issue is. Like I said, it could be from COVID. It can be transgenderism. It can be about who they want to be the president. And they push that. And they have decided Kamala Harris is who the establishment wants Kamala Harris to win. And so no matter what she does, they will present an excuse for it, similar to what they did for Joe Biden, as you mentioned, who was in a steep mental decline. We had been saying it since he first ran, and they were hiding him and using the excuse of COVID. And they kept making it cute. Oh, it's another Biden gaffe. Oh, haha, how sweet. He's mixed up the names of his children. Oh, he keeps thinking Beau is alive and his son actually died. They made this excuse of like, he's just a funny grandpa. And we're accusing people who were going, no, this is a man that's in mental decline, of being horrific, backwards, racist, sexist, the whole thing. So it's the exact same thing. Now we just fast forward, they have their candidates, Kamala, she can do nothing wrong. Even she could do something wrong in broad daylight and they would turn that into a positive. And that's just the way it works. We don't have an honest media. We just have people that are interested in brainwashing the public not to believe their own eyes.
Yeah, and look, it's a crude term. I often say when someone's that popular, it's like they could have intercourse with a goat and everyone say, look how kind they are to animals. And when you're unpopular, you could walk on water and someone would say Trump can't swim. But yeah. Trump did run into a problem with pussy again. He doesn't mind grabbing it, but he doesn't like eating it. Can you tell me... are illegal immigrants... I knew that'd get a laugh out of you. Are illegal immigrants in the United States eating people's pets?
Well, it depends on what reality you want to live in. You either believe the people themselves who are saying and reporting that this is what is happening in their community, that their pets are going missing and that they're watching these immigrants grab animals off of the street and that they're eating them, or you believe the establishment, which tells you that they looked into it and the city manager said that that is not true. I'm going to go with, in the post-COVID society, we tend to lean towards people that are telling you what's happening. I don't know what incentive someone would have to falsely report that their animal had been taken and eaten. I don't see like if that's like the moment that you want for the TV cameras to follow you. And so Donald Trump was reporting on what people had been reporting on in the community. And then of course, ABC, who they were also debating Trump, were already prepared to say that's simply not happening. And their incentive is because they don't want people to focus on the issue, the immigrant issue crisis that we're facing right now in America. And it's something that is ripe on everyone's mind. So they're going to try to make it seem like crimes are not bad and that these radical things are not happening. But, you give it 6 months and they'll admit that it happened and that they just hadn't yet received the report. And And there we go on this merry-go-round of first it's a conspiracy and then it's a fact. Just give it a few weeks.
And as bizarre as the cat thing was, I was also incredibly cynical when I heard a report on social media that Kamala Harris, and this is a big issue in New Zealand, though our government and mainstream media don't want to phrase it, the issue of transgenderism and our government refusing to take a position on puberty blockers, which I think I've told you we prescribe at a greater rate to young people than any other country in the world, and our government will not get off the fence on it. I heard a report that I simply didn't believe, and that was that Kamala Harris had said that the American taxpayer would fund transition surgery for illegal immigrants. Now, I just thought that cannot be true. That has got to be some mischief maker from the right or some hack on the thing, but it is, by the looks of it.
It is true. Yeah,
wow.
This is one of the most sinister agendas, and I really encourage people who are being sold the bill of lies from the government that this is about the love of children and children are really just this confused and their parents are awful and backwards, to please pry further. And, I did this unbelievable interview. I sat down with a trans person and they explained how they had gone through the procedures, got the bottom surgery, 19-year-old young man who presents as a woman. And it was the only time I interviewed someone and was brought to tears, explaining how he probably was genuinely, as we were reflecting on it, he was like, I was just gay, but then they made it look all glitz and glamoury. They bring the politicians out, they bring the social media people, anymore, Taylor Swift comes out and says you can be this. And for kids always want to rebel against their parents. You go through an adolescent phase. It used to be you just smoked a cigarette. Now it's you go through with transgender something that is not reversible, taking these puberty blockers. But I really am encouraging people to go pursue this interview, because what he described and how his body was mutilated and how he will never be able to go back. He will never be able to go back. And this all happened because he was on TikTok. And like I said, the celebrities were mainstreaming this and made it seem so easy and like he would be happy. It is the greatest evil that our governments and therefore the school system and Hollywood is complicit in. What they are doing to children who you can always stop smoking cigarettes, You do not go back from these puberty blockers that are given, by the way, these drugs are given to inmates in prison to sterilize them. It's the same exact drug being rebranded called Lupron.